Good afternoon, everybody. We're coming to you live from downtown Melbourne today for People2People Live, or P2P Live, I should say. My name's Mark Smith. I am Group Managing Director of People2People in Australia and Frog Recruitment in New Zealand. Yes, and we are right opposite Flinders Street Station here in the P2P office in Melbourne. Had a fabulous night last night for the RCSA Awards, where People2People were awarded the Large Agency of the Year within Australia. So we're very proud of that. We'll have some more information about that next week. But today we're actually going to focus on Victoria. So we're going to focus our numbers on reviewing what the employment and jobs market is like here in Victoria. We got 3 jobs that we need to fill today. So stay online. You can apply live. We can see all of your comments. So on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube right now. So if you do have any questions about the jobs or anything that we're saying today, then please make sure you pop your comments in there. And you can even apply for those jobs straight away as well. We'll also be getting some tips from Jess in our Sydney team about undertaking virtual interviews. I mean, it's the norm these days. The first part of any recruitment process tends to be a virtual interview. So she's got some fantastic tips on that. But let's get into it, and let's start with analysing the jobs market and the numbers for Victoria. So the Victorian labour market, it is strong at the moment. And you can see here a comparison or a summary table comparing the Victorian labour market to Australia as a whole. So you can see that the number of employed persons here in Victoria is 3.4 million out of a total of 13.3 million in Australia in March 22. Unemployment, 146,000 in Victoria out of a total of 551. The unemployment rate here is 4%. That's spot on the result across the nation, and down from pre-pandemic levels of 5.2 here in Victoria. And the interesting one, that I always find fascinating for Victoria as compared to Australia, is the participation rate. So there is a higher level of participation in the workforce here in Victoria as compared to the rest of the country. Youth unemployment, 10.5%, substantially higher than the national average, but spot on where it was pre-pandemic. Let's go to the next slide, Jacob. Jacob, our man behind the scenes in Wellington. You can always go to I always forget the name of the pub that you've got to go to have a beer with Jacob on a Friday night. But Jacob, how about you pop that into the comments for everybody? No, he's not going to do that. Anyway, the online job advertisements. This is from March 17 to March 22 in Victoria, and you can see that it's 164%, 165% of March 2020 levels. That's a huge increase, and substantially more than in the preceding years. You can see that the number of online job advertisements is there between 40 and 50,000, and now we're up towards 80,000. So the market is hot in Victoria at the moment, at least looking at these online job advertisements. And thanks, Remy. Yes, it is exciting times for job seekers. If you do have any comments, we can see them. So we'll make sure that if you have any questions that you pop them into the comments there. Let's go to the next slide. This is the largest employing industries in Victoria. From Feb 22 is the teal colour, and Feb 20 in the dark blue. And you can see that healthcare is the largest employer in industry in Victoria, followed by professional and scientific services, retail, construction, and education and training. And the interesting part also is in Feb 22 versus Feb 20, the increase in healthcare, but we saw a decrease in retail and a decrease in construction and education. I think if you at the pub and you were asking, well, where do you think all the jobs are, or where do people need, where are people needed, healthcare would be right up there, and retail, given the pandemic, would fall away. So the numbers really playing out what the anecdotal evidence is showing as well. Let's go to the next slide. This is the online job advertisements by occupation. So sales assistant, general clerks, software application programmers, and waiters are the top by actual occupation or titles. So I thought that was interesting. The next one, this is all for Victoria, by the way. These are Victoria, not Australia-wide. Let's go to the next slide. And this is the unemployment rate. To see that the light or the pink color is Australia and Victoria is blue. And you can see that during the 18 and 19 that Victoria was outperforming the rest of the country. We're right on 4% for the country and for Victoria at the moment. And you can see that back in 13, 14 and 15 that unemployment was higher than the national average here in Victoria. And Aidan on LinkedIn says they're great insights. Thanks, Aidan. That's nice to hear. Next slide. And this is the last one, and this is really about the expectations. This is an Outlook survey from March 22 for those who are looking to increase or decrease their staff, their future hiring in expectations. And you can see that a solid 33%, I think it is, are looking to increase their staff, and that's certainly what we're seeing. It is very busy in Victoria and in our Melbourne office at the moment. That's it for the numbers, focusing specifically on Victoria. So it's Fill Job Friday. We've got 3 jobs we need to fill today. So here's the first one. This is from Toowoomba, this role, $32 an hour. Toowoomba, great regional city in Queensland. We need an event coordinator. You'll be responsible for retaining and supporting community relationships within the region. You need to have experience working in special events or fundraising and demonstrated experience with logistical events needed. Georgia Arnott in our Queensland office is who you need to talk to up there. It's immediate start. You could start on Monday. No, you can't because it's public holiday. Tuesday, 073118 0125 to get in touch with Georgia. You can apply online. The link to that job is in the comments. The next role is a role here in Melbourne for a HR generalist. $30 to $40 an hour. It's a 2-month temp assignment working full-time hours for an industry-leading construction organisation, starting immediately. You could start on Tuesday. You'll be responsible for pre-employment admin, onboarding, previous human resource and admin experience needed. You need to contact Will here in the Melbourne office, 03 9098 7434. You can apply. Yes, Sonia, sorry about that, Sonia. Yes, we do have roles available in Melbourne. This is the temp job. If you're interested in that, get in touch with Will this afternoon. Possibly we could get you working starting on Tuesday. It's not the only role that we have, of course, as well. Here's the next one. A financial accounting role in Brookvale in New South Wales. That's up near Manly. This is a temp position, immediate start for a financial accountant. There is the possibility to go permanent, but your role will include journals, preparation of month-end financial and management reports and general tasks. Ideally CPA qualified, or at least on your way there. You need to get in touch with Liam Graffiti, 82709772. That's 02 for Sydney there. I can see that Faria, you're asking, do we have any roles for human resources in Sydney? We definitely do. We just don't have that temp job that's starting on Monday. This is Fill Job Friday, but we'll make sure that we'll give you the contact details of our human resource recruiters in Sydney. So Fill Job Friday, event coordinator in Toowoomba. Georgia Arnott is the person you need to speak to. HR generalist here in Melbourne, Will Hillgrove is the person you need to speak to. And the last one is financial accountant in Brookvale in Sydney. Liam Graffiti is the consultant. Now, when you apply, you might be sitting on a bus thinking, well, how do I apply with this? You can hit the links for these roles in our comments there are Vply, where you can apply just with a video. So just a quick video there for a couple of minutes, get your application across. and get going. Rightio. So that's it for Fill Job Friday. We're going to find out about virtual interview tips. To get us there, though, we have a role from Patricia in our Sydney accounting team with the video. So if you could play that for us, Jacob.
Hi, my name is Patricia from the Finance and Accounting team at P2P Recruitment. Today, I'm bringing you an exciting opportunity to join a global logistics business as an invoicing supervisor. A motivated, critical thinking troubleshooter, in this role you will ensure that invoices have been dispatched to customers, support an attractive working atmosphere, and escalate any technical issues. With flexible working arrangements on offer, you have the opportunity to work from home for up to 10 days a month, no questions asked. On the days when you're in the office, you can enjoy a game of pool during your lunch break or start your day with a relaxing yoga session in their brand new gym. Apply now via the link or contact me for a confidential discussion.
Good afternoon, Jess.
Hello.
Now, we're sitting in the same office together in Sydney, and I just happen to be here in Melbourne this week, and it's been a typical Melbourne weather. It's about to absolutely chuck it down, but it was sunny about 2 minutes ago. But I think if there's an irony, or is it serendipitous, that we're going to be talking about virtual interviews, and we're going to do that virtually when we normally are face to face. So tell me more. What tips do you have for those watching today on virtual interviews?
Yes, so essentially we have 3 key tips that I would give to my candidates on a daily basis. So obviously over the last year, 2 years, we've seen that the world of work has gone fully online, so we're having to fully adapt that interview process. So the first key tip I tell my candidates is essentially to really set the scene, make sure that you've got no distractions, no kids around you, no TV playing in the background, and really make sure that you set the scene, make sure you are a center of frame, that you have a space above your head and that they can see at least your head and shoulders. You really want to make sure that it's as if it is a virtual conversation like they would be in person. The next thing as well is, of course, dress to impress. Just because it is a virtual interview does not mean that you don't need to make that much of an effort. You really want to set yourself aside from the other applicants and wear that blazer, a nice blouse, suit and tie, and it will really set you out from the other applicants for that job interview. And the final thing really is to prepare. You really need to do your research on the role you're applying for, but also reread your resume and reflect back on the job description and see where you can really add to the company. So the key thing really is to make sure that you are doing as much preparation as you can so that it as if you are still there in person, and make it that it is a cohesive conversation. So they would be my main tips.
Fantastic. 3 very, very important tips. And virtual interviews now are just ubiquitous, aren't they? Everybody, the first part of every process tends to be a virtual interview. So while I've got you too, Jess, how's the market in Sydney?
Well, the market is, I would say, buoyant, definitely. I know myself personally in temp legal support, definitely, there's so much jobs and there's a lot of there's a lot of need for legal support. I definitely find that there's many jobs coming in and there's just not so much candidates to fill them. I know that we're slowly seeing an increase of working holiday makers, and I've got a few candidates coming in now, even next week, that they're lining up their jobs for when they arrive. So it's definitely good to see people are eager to get in there, but definitely need lots more.
There's so much choice, isn't there? If you're a legal support candidate now, you have so much choice.
Definitely.
Amazing. How would somebody get in touch? If you got any friends, is that what you're about to say? If you know anybody who's looking for a role in
if you've done any legal, just ring me for a little chat. No problem. But definitely, if anybody is interested in getting into legal support, even from those entry-level positions right up to seeing a career as a EA at senior level, definitely we have positions to accommodate those goals. So do send your resume to me at jessica@people2people.com.au or contact me on 02 8270 9750.
Fantastic. Great to see you again, even though it's virtual, Jess, and I'll see you in the office next Tuesday. Thanks for joining us again.
Thanks, Mike.
Righto, let's move on. We've got to look at quickly the poll results from last week, and this was fascinating. So here's the Twitter poll that we had. Twitter, or it's actually all of our social channels, so LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. As a job seeker in 2022, what do you plan on asking for? A pay rise? 60. Now, is there any surprise that 2/3 of everybody out there wants a pay rise, or they want flexibility and they're not so concerned about other employee benefits? It's basically, I want more money and more flexibility. That's where you're going to get my attention. And if you're an employer and you're looking to hire somebody, then I would definitely be considering the expectations that you have in terms of salary. And even for your existing staff, a review of those, particularly around year end, is advice well taken, I would suggest. Let's have a look at the next week's poll. What would entice you to taking a job in another state? There's this labour mobility question. We haven't had much of it over the last couple of years. So I think there is a real opportunity here to secure talent interstate. So what would you need to change states? Salary increase, relocation costs covered, promotion, or I'm simply not going to change states. I've heard a few people here in the Melbourne office going, why would you live anywhere else? So maybe they'll be ticking on that on this particular poll. I wouldn't be changing states at all. The link to the polls is in the comments. Thanks again for joining us today. We'll do this all again next week, 12:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook for P2P Live. We'll see you then.